one of the things I'm most excited about this whole event has been this panel we're about to do now because, as I mentioned before, I've been fortunate to come to Spain many times over the years and had a chance to, see coffee as it moved along and as visited Salvador many times. And so let me introduce who we have here. We have Salvador Sanz El Magnifico. We have Jordi Mestre from Nomad Coffee. We have Miguel from Matmans, who's been providing all the coffee and lunch you've had today. And we have Elizabeth Zorino from La Marzocco in Spain. Let's hear a big round of applause for your panel. And so the idea about this talk is we're here in Barcelona. There is this great coffee culture. You look at the map in your programs, and there are so many places to go for good coffee now. And Barcelona is having that same transition that a lot of cities we all know are starting to have, where once there was maybe only 2 good places to go, now there are lots more. And what I wanted to talk about with the group today, and we've kind of had some short conversations, in the lead up to this, is what is unique about coffee in Spain? That if you imagine, and I've heard this same thing come up in a lot of the workshops and conversations earlier, is that this idea that quality is the same thing, or we're trying to all reach the same goal, and the fear of homogenous or very same coffee experience, quality, design, menu options, all those things. Nobody really wants that. We don't want to have the same kind of coffee shop in every city of the world. That's really boring. So in 10 years' time, when there's, 300, 400 great coffee shops across Spain, is there something, and this is kind of what I want to discuss for the next hour, 45 minutes, is what do we think is really great about Spanish coffee? And that could be anything from the bars, the drinks. Is it just cortado, or is there more? So I mean, anyone, Miguel, if you want to start.
Yeah, of course. Well, I started in the hospitality business like 12, 13 years ago. I used to work with Robusta without waiting all the coffees. I discovered coffee years after I started to work in hospitality. So I can say that I saw all the small evolution we had from years before. So what I like it, after also living in London for 3 years and working with Isa, she taught me a lot. I can say like people like Jordi, for example, Right Side, Elizabeth, and all these coffee shops you just said. We are starting to change a little bit the market and the way to drink coffee, okay? We are a country where everything is okay, everything is valid, the customer has the right, has the power of decision how they like the drinks. There is not like a big standard around this country. It's very famous also this cortado, and in Andalusia we have like 13 different kinds of cortado, for example. It's like impossible to prepare if you are not living there. But I think that coffee is something for everybody, not only here in Spain, also in the different countries. But we really need to improve this way to consume the coffee, okay? I think for the next 10 years, with the things that we are doing slowly, we'll be able to change a little bit this way to consume and to get better beans and forget about Robusta or even dark roast. I'm sure if you go to any bar around the city or around the country, you will drink like a burnt drink without any flavor. So I think we have everything to change this way to consume. And not only focusing on about the drinks we are ordering, Ristretto or Lungo or whatever, because there is not, like I said before, like a big standard, okay? We need to focus more on the bean, on the variety, and also to improve these roastings, just to make the people know about the coffee and the flavors that the coffee has.
Sure. I mean, the experience of there are obvious parallels between Italian coffee culture and Spanish coffee culture. Similarities there, the bar culture, but I'm curious about is there specific things that we think are inherent more Spanish, more and I know we're in Catalonia and I know there's a difference there, but is there things that you identify as being this is something we do a little bit differently and that we will keep doing differently? I mean, Salvador or Jordi.
Yeah, definitely. What as is different everywhere in Spain, like South Spain,
Sure.
Madrid, Galicia, Catalonia. We definitely have a very different bar culture. But as you were saying, the cortado. Yeah, I think the best thing about Spain is the size of our drinks. They're quite small, all of them. Like even a café con leche, our latte is like really tiny. It's probably like 6 ounces or something like this. So we definitely need to keep that. We've gained that. We have that already.
And nobody's asking for bigger.
Not really, no. Even our like takeaway cups are quite small as well. Like 8 is the biggest, which is great. And then, but this has been actually it's been more like we've exported that rather than we've changed. So cortado is quite popular. Either cortado or Gibraltar is quite popular pretty much everywhere now. You go to the States, you go to Australia, and that size of coffee is pretty good. So this is definitely something we need to keep. And then it's true that at least I think in Catalonia or Barcelona, we're not very adventurous. So like we don't really like change, like different new cuisine and all this. There was a survey a while ago, like what kind of food do you like when you go out for dinner? And 80% of the people more or less answer normal food. So it's like Spanish, normal. Don't give me noodles. Don't give me anything weird. So it's a good start for a cafe to start with normal drinks. So give them the cortado, give them a café con leche, but just give them the best cortado and the best café con leche they've ever had, and then you can introduce the flat white, the cappuccino, the batch brew, and filter coffee and all this. But let's start from what they know, and if they like what they know. They definitely will like like all the drinks we have to offer. I remember the first 6-8 months I opened my first cafe or like coffee bar. After 6 or 8 months, I had even like neighbors that they were walking in and saying, "But what do you do?" So there was a bar and an espresso machine, and people did not understand what we were doing, just coffee. So if you change the layout, or if you change the look of your shop, they don't really get it. They don't really understand. So it's difficult for them to walk in and try. So that's my conclusion. Like to start from what they know.
Well, then I think it's interesting because that's if you think about the experience in that first Nomad store, and then I think of Salvador's place, and I've visited many times, and it's such a it's one of those classic immersive places you walk in and just everything hits you. You just see the roaster, you see the coffee beans, you see all the devices, all the paraphernalia, the different things, and you're in a fairly tourist. It's a popular part of town, Barrio Gótica, is that right? Yeah. So, what has the experience been for you? I mean, I remember the day you showed me around the area, but the food scene there, the response. What does the community in that neighborhood think of the coffee you do compared to all the coffee elsewhere? And I know you've been doing this for a while too.
Yeah, although that is a difficult thing to explain. We are in a neighborhood where there are several businesses that have lasted for several generations in food. So there's a lot of people coming from the town to buy from these different. Let's say there's a cluster of food people there, and so let's say there's a kind of mall, open air mall. Let's say like this, yeah. But going to your question, what's unique about coffee in Spain? I don't know how to answer that question. It's quite complicated, in my opinion. Let's say something to start. I think that for all of us, our taste is built on our experiences since we are kids. The food that we eat, and we build a taste based on the food we eat since we are kids. So probably the taste for the basic things, for sweet, acidic, no, etc., is different from country to country because we eat different things. So I think we probably agree that we prefer more sweetness than other. Of the other 3 or 4 things, we prefer sweetness. In Italy, maybe they are more used to slightly more bitterness. They eat things that are bitter. They like it. This is first. So probably the reflect of the coffee we offer is reflected on that, for sure. No? Let's say that to be a little bit, let's say, broad, if you want. I don't know the word. Broad is the word. We are not in Naples, but also we are not in the other countries. We are something in the middle. So probably we had something to. Let's say that we have something to say in the coffee business because we are not this or that. So if we are not this or that, we are something also, no?
You mean from a roasting point of view?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or when we select the coffees, cupping, probably we tend to find out sweetness much more interesting. Sweetness with a nice balance from acidity and sweetness, but more related to sweetness than the other things in a coffee. Probably we select this coffee, so we sell this coffee, so we are using the people to these coffees because it's the things that we like more than others.
Elizabeth?
So I totally agree with Salvador's point. Italians, they like more the bitterness. They have these amazing Negronis and all these drinks, so they are used to bitterness. We are more used to sweetness. Also, the style of roasting in Spain is lighter than in Italy, but 70% of the imports in Spain is Robusta. So if you don't want to kill the customer, you have to roast it lighter, otherwise it's really powerful. Specialty coffee in Barcelona is also quite different for the rest of the Spain because expats immediately recognize that our coffee shops, the core business is coffee. We don't have much food, we don't have very expensive decoration. The most expensive equipment is barista and machine grinders, so we put a lot of attention and money into it, and we are not so focused on the lighting or very expensive furniture. This is something that the expats immediately recognize, and then the locals, they say, what do you do? They follow the expats and they understand. Without we educating them, they discover that they can drink coffee without sugar. And the next step is that they drink coffee and they love it without even milk. So that is the path. And that is happening like 2 years ago. 3 years ago, there were only one coffee shop in Barcelona and another one in Madrid that they were the flags of specialty coffee. And has been like a tough path, but very fulfilling for us because we have been like preaching in the desert for many years, traveling around and see when will happen this in Barcelona or in our countries, and finally it's happening now. So we are really happy that it's happening. And something that is also in common in specialty coffees is how conservative we are with the prices. How cheap is our coffee? Have you noticed that you can drink amazing coffees, the same standards like in Sweden? I've been in Germany, and honestly, we have more coffee shops. And I had really bad coffees there. But the thing is that my pocket was more punished, even. So why that? Why? Because in Greece now, the salary is about 500 euros. And you pay like 3 to 5 euros per 1 cup of coffee. It's amazing what is happening, and it's not the quality of the coffee is really high. The quality of the service, you will notice that there is a huge difference between the customer service in a cafe. Miguel is over the place, so it's like you cannot imagine a better barista with a better customer service. Then you go to another regular cafe, and they don't even look at you or they don't smile at you. and the salaries are like 800 to 1,000 or 1,200 euros a month. So it's not that the salaries are not the problem, it's the culture, it's the passion, it's lacking passion, and we are all dedicated into it. So we'll live for that. And another thing that we are kind of forced to serve is food, because we cannot live out of coffee with these prices. So you can understand, but we need to offer something else.
But it's
And-
funny you said it, because there's that trend of a lot of coffee shops. Okay, so if you think about Il Magnifico, it stood out to me when I first visited because it was one of the few places that was just coffee. The focus was very squarely on coffee back at the beginning, and everywhere else had wine, beer, food, tapas, everything, and a coffee machine. And if you look at the trends globally now, a lot of coffee shops are embracing the same idea. They're trying to move to that place where, oh, maybe we'll do beers in the evening and we have a small food menu, and how do we do this when we have only this much back counter space? And a lot of it is kind of going back to what is standard in Italy and parts of Spain. So it's what's interesting to me is whether or not there is value in going after the very narrow menu option. We just do coffee. This is a coffee cathedral. We take it very seriously. And you keep that distinction from everything else. Or is there more opportunity in Spain, do you think, to change what they know already and put good coffee in the standard bar, tapas bar type place?
I would like to add that we are a gastronomic country, so we are really focused on food. But beside coffee, you can also bring more food that complement also your cash, but not to compete or copy another countries like every single specialty cafe has avocado toast. My question is why?
It's so good. It's so good.
I don't need to make tapas. I'm very good with black rice, but I will not serve rice with fish, rice with coffee. No way. But don't we have an amazing assortment of products grown locally? We don't have to kill the producers of avocado from Mexico and produce a lot of pollution during transport. Please be innovative. We don't need to copy anyone to be cool. We are cool. So just be innovative what we have and do something that we enjoy and complement our coffee, and we don't have to invent the wheel.
Yeah, sure. Guys?
Well, I agree quite a lot with Elizabeth's thoughts. Only in one thing. Coffee has a value more than the price we pay to the roasters. So in Spain also it's not very easy for an entrepreneur to open a business. We are having a lot of difficulties. We have to pay to be a self-employed from the first day. Even if we are not selling, okay? Plus the rent, plus the equipment, plus all the products. For example, myself here, what I'm trying to do is try to collect all the best products I can find not only in Barcelona, also in Catalonia, and to give like a price I think the people can pay for it, okay? Last week, it was funny because we had like an event here tonight. I found a guy who used to come like once a week because he loves my coffee, but he told me, man, I'm not coming back to you because you are too expensive. I said, okay, 220 for a cortado might be a little bit expensive compared to some other places, but I asked him, how much would you pay for it? 120, so milk plus coffee plus service plus rent. Okay, I'm losing money if I have to charge you 120. The Wi-Fi, of course. So I tried to get into the mind to this person to say that I'm not paying like 10 euros for the kilo of coffee. We are using a product with much more value, well prepared, good water, good equipment. We are trying to increase the standards of the area, okay? But what I found here is very difficult to fit into the neighborhood. when you are really trying to do your best to your customers. I also agree that avocado on toast is not, it's a main product for everybody because it's really tasty, I have to say. But I'm trying to do some Catalonian things as well to go to the people, like the escalivada you had in the morning. I think it's very simple, tasty. People might be bored, but it's something that you can find in a coffee shop and very easy to prepare. Yeah. But yeah, I think we are very stuck to the way we used to do the things, as Jordi said, and we have to give them what they know, but in our way. And trying to find the right balance is kind of complicated. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Anything to add to that? Those questions, or?
Well, because the business here, probably the bar business here, is based on what's the word, rotation. So on the basis that the client comes 2-3 times during the day, right? So it's like a little bit more like in Italy, no? People come, sip the coffee, pay, and sometimes he asked for the coffee, he asked for the cortado, and while you are preparing the cortado, the guy is looking for the coins because he is in a hurry, Everybody's in a hurry, I don't know why, but it's like this. So it's a kind of repetition, not rotation, repetition model. You need that the clients come 2 or 3 times a day. Yeah, this is one. The second one I want to say is that the market, I think the market needs everything. The market needs these kind of people, these guys, making coffee at a high price. In the same way that the market needs, I don't want to talk about restaurants, but for example, hotels. You can pay 500 euros a night in a place, but you also can pay 30 euros a night. So the market needs to be open to everyone, right? And as my old teacher, Monsieur Philippe Jobin, used to say, coffee needs its heroes, coffee needs its defender lawyers, or coffee needs the ones who defend them, coffee needs these gurus, coffee needs but also they need let's say it this way, the ones who open his little business every day and give coffee to everybody. Yep. Because coffee is transversal in the society. Coffee is for everyone. Yeah, but we need these guys. These guys, or if you want to include me, are the ones who are pushing the market up, right? The quality of the market up. But it's not going to be for one day or for the next week.
Yeah.
It would take a lot of time for the people to understand that they go to spend their night at 500 euros or to spend the night at 30 euros. But it will take time. It's an evolution, but it's everywhere. I mean, let me say that. When I listen to them talking about the Robusta, which is correct, and we need also to remember that we have two companies buying Robusta coffee to make soluble coffee for whole Europe, right? So part of this is to these two. But and sorry to say that, but in England, in London particularly, they have made a big movement in coffee. But I don't see anybody complaining because 10 years ago, 90% of the consumption in England was soluble coffee. So I think we need to forget about all the problems that we have and look on the future and making the market better. Yeah. And this, but knowing that this is going to be very slow, because people has his own, let's say, routines, everyday routines, and that is very difficult to change. For example, we want to change our schedule time. We want to start before in the morning in the companies and finish at, if possible, 5-6 o'clock in the evening. This is something that they are discussing, the politicians are discussing how to implement this in the society, because we have a stupid schedule every day, right? But it's difficult. It's not going to change.
What's the schedule?
9 to 9?
9. I mean,
with the siesta in the middle.
So there's two things that you've said. That 13 cortados and 9 to 9 are like crazy to me. So I will ask about the 13 different cortados at the end. But the 9 to 9, siesta in the middle.
9 to 8. For example, we open 9:30 to 8. Yeah, open whole day. We are open whole day, 9:30 from Monday to Saturday, 9:30 in the morning till 8 o'clock in the evening. So there's a long
If you work
day.
in an office as well, it's 9. If you work in an office, it's 9 to 5,
The
9 to
schedules,
8.
our life is a little bit crazy. Let's say that.
So we work the most hours, and we the ones that produce the least.
But all changes
So
that is.
that's a fact. Yeah, the least efficient.
So some quick obvious things, not a huge takeaway culture, right? The takeaway culture is pretty low in Spain. It's a lot of sit-in. And you don't also have lots of seats, people on laptops for long times.
Well,
People-
we can't
people-
pay the rent with the prices of the coffee then.
Yeah.
But please, guys, take a look in the city. There's a bar after a bar. In the same street, there's a bar after a bar after a bar. There's a lot of them. People doesn't need that. Doesn't need much to take a coffee and walk away. People maybe, let's say like this, is lazy to do this. Because they have it, they have a bar and a bar and a bar and a bar.
So what do you think then? I mean,
It's a lot of bars.
So if you take you guys out of it, what are the roasters like? Do you think the Spanish customer is looking for a certain? Do they care what roaster it is? Do they care what blend it is? Does the customer care what roaster, what blend is in the coffee machine?
Not like the general public.
Yeah.
The general public, they don't. Well, they do care about the brand. We don't talk about like it's never been a coffee from Colombia or Brazil. It's like what brand is it? It's like there's four.
In the supermarket, you mean?
Well, if you're
No,
in
like
on
in a
that
bar.
street where there's a
In
bar,
a
In the bar,
and a bar,
in the
and a bar,
bar.
and a
No, they
bar.
don't care at all.
They want their brand. Like it's always been like a local roaster, and they want that more or less. You know, they want their Bonca. They want their Marcilla.
I don't think they care much, in my opinion. I don't think they have the place that they like to go, and or they try the products, and if they like the whole assortment of that, is the place that they choose to take their breakfast every day. I think it's like this.
It is, but it is. You are right in that classic bar is very similar. Like there's one across the road, and I feel like I walked into it around the corner, and I saw it around the corner. It's the same look and feel all the time. So it is, and I don't notice the roaster in the bag. I don't see any big advertising about those things. So if the food is very similar, if the drinks are very similar, is it just the people that makes people decide to go to one over the other?
The closest you have from work or from home doesn't really matter.
Really? So it's like commodity bars.
In fact, if you
It's
think
sad,
it, the price of espresso is also a commodity price. Do you really think that the guys who open coffee bars, not the typical coffee bars, do really think that they make figures and they know the percentage of not only the coffee, of all the details that they need to calculate the price? No, they don't do this. They go around in the neighborhood and make a little kind of research of the prices in the neighborhood. If they want to be, let's say, better, they put 5 cents more. If they want to be, let's say, competitive, they put 5 cents less. But I don't think that they make any.
So this is what I think is so interesting, though, is
Analyzing prices. I
Sure.
don't think that they analyze prices.
I know a lot of people who would kill for the kind of coffee consuming culture that Barcelona has, as in small drinks, no takeaway. Like, oh my God, that would be incredible.
One euro per,
Yeah, that not so much. But it is the idea that you would have a customer base who doesn't want takeaway, because I would always argue once you decide to do takeaway, you lose control of your entire space. If you have to facilitate a line of people moving through,
But,
then you have to redesign your space to do that.
At the same time, we've got that, and then we have an alternative. We've got the €2 coffee for those who can't find a good coffee, and then there's room for improvement.
Yeah.
There's room. I don't think we're teaching anyone, how to drink coffee. We're just offering an alternative. So you have these, which you always had, and now you have these cafes. You have this coffee. So I don't think like talking about what's the general coffee culture. I think we need to forget about this culture, otherwise we'll be like just punching our face
Right.
all the time.
Yeah, you're just, you
So
think you have to define
we are now
anything.
we offering an alternative. We changing for some people the way to drink coffee, the way to enjoy it. So I think it's amazing. We've got a very heavy coffee culture, and they love, or Spanish people love drinking coffee. But some of them might change to the new coffee.
Right.
I think that what is important to mention is that the average is coming up, not only the high end. The average is coming up. The mid-side roasters, even the mid-side roasters, are making much better blends than 10 or 15 or 20 years ago. So the average is going up. So that is, I think, the most important. When the typical hotel chain calls you because they want to improve the coffee, and the previous supplier was a multinational or these mid-sized companies that we all know, selling the beautiful Robustas plus some defective Brazils. But then when they want to change and they come to small companies to improve the coffee, not only that, because they want also the employees to understand better the coffee and how to make better coffee, that means that the average is coming up. And this is what is happening. So the average is going up.
Is the price
But I
going
don't-
up too?
The price, no, not really. Not really. In the bars, no. In the hotels is expensive enough. Expensive enough in the hotels. But so it means that it goes. But in fact, I think that we can agree that the best coffee is going to be served in places like our places. The best coffees. Why? Because we are 10, 12 hours a day just thinking about coffee. The guy of the bar is thinking about the coffee, the ham, the bread, the lunch. He has a lot of thoughts. We only think about coffee, and coffee. So, thanks God for the good or the bad. At the end, the best coffee always is going to be served in our places. The best coffees.
Elizabeth?
I just wanted to add before I forget that we don't offer only coffee. We offer good experiences around coffee. So this is our main difference between the bar around the corner, that there are like 366,000 in total Spain, more than banks, pharmacies, or whatever. So we have a lot of bars, but these bars are like the convenient one that you run. The people get the caffeine fix, bocadillo sandwich, and they go back to the office. Or our place where they really come because they enjoy the company, they talk with the barista, and maybe they find people that they are also coffee lovers. And they have extra value, which is the experience. So between take away and open the laptop and have a cortado and spend 4 hours, I think that we will find kind of a balance with time, because otherwise it's not sustainable.
Sure, and those things are true around the world as well. It's just different.
Well, I think we cannot also forget that we are the beach of Europe. We are a services country, so this bar mentality makes sense for this country. Everybody thinks that opening a bar is the way to retire because it's very easy and I had to put a beer, had to do a food sandwich, whatever. But in general, they don't know how to select the products enough, okay? So to create the things, to learn about everything, you have to repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat. I was tired to do takeaway coffees in London. It was a massive sales. Here, I spent like 500 euros in takeaway things, and it's not even the 0.1% of my business. So I have like a lot of takeaway things stuck over there. I could be having dinner with my girl, you know? But anyway, there are things that you have to learn every time you are working, day by day. And being barista, being a coffee lover is something that you have inside you. That's why we are here, right? We love coffee, everybody. I will never will try to leave the bar. I love to be in the bar. I love to serve my customers. Even if it's really hard, I will try to do 4 hours instead 10, but I want to do it, yeah? Because this is my profession. I choose my path. So because I like what I do, I want to try to change the way the people consume things.
Sure. Any questions from or observations or comments? Anyone in the audience? Yeah. 1 second.
Sorry, I think I might have missed it. Would you say that outside of like the specialty coffee shops, that consumers are regularly going to a coffee bar simply because it's close, convenient, and they maybe know the owner, or like it's that relationship of it's a friend or it's an owner, and they maybe go there 2 or 3 times a day? Is that quite common?
Yeah, definitely. And because there's the best breakfast offer, croissant and coffee,
Yeah.
190.
I think that's interesting. I think that's interesting though, because a lot of discussion today has been how do we get that kind of consistency with regular customers in our own coffee bars and specialty coffee bars. That's something that's a big challenge for specialty coffee. And the fact that you have a culture that is based on that is also an advantage that you also have in going forward in creating sustainable businesses in the future as well.
Totally, yeah. It's just a matter of money. Like if they come 3 times and they spend like $2.50 each time, it's the same price as a lunch menu in some, in a restaurant. So like 8-9 euros is what they spend for lunch. And if they go to the bar and it's €1 each coffee, it'll be 3 euros at the end of the day, which is it's okay.
Are you guys much more expensive than those prices, or
We are, yeah.
just what's the range? Like, what's an expensive cafe con leche? What's a cheap cafe con leche, or espresso, or whatever? You know.
It's on the neighborhood even, eh?
Yeah, I guess like 110, 120 for a café con leche.
No, so no. But maybe in some cities.
Like some Chinese restaurants, bars. Yeah, no, there's lots of.
Or just in front,
Just
over there.
Yeah, no. Have you not seen like normal Spanish bars run by Chinese people, and they make tortilla de patatas, they make paella, they know everything.
Octopus.
It just sounded weird when you said it.
No, it's funny. It is
So wait, 110, 120, and then on the high end,
253.
253 for a.
Hotel maybe it's much more.
Yeah, but hotels are hotels. Any other comments? Yeah.
Yeah. So I can say it really loud. Since I've been here in Barcelona, like the restaurants, the quality of the food here is amazing. I think cuisine in general, it's really diverse, and the culture kind of embraces it. But in a lot of times that I've been to good restaurants, at the end you order a coffee and it's just either a regular coffee or maybe an espresso or something like that. Do you see that the specialty coffee sector can jump in that bandwagon with the restaurants?
Yeah, but I don't think this is a Spanish subject. I think this happens everywhere. Yeah, like how 2-3 Michelin-star restaurants they ended up with an espresso machine. It's like if they give you, I don't know, like bread from the supermarket, you know. So this is a big thing, and this is a big subject to discuss, and it's always on the table for the specialty coffee. I think because there's still a lot to do in this subject, which is let's be optimistic about it. I think we still have a lot to do in specialty coffee. We still have a lot of room for improvement and for growing, and good restaurants like Michelin-star restaurants, or like just simply good restaurants going or jumping into the specialty coffee would be a very good step, obviously.
Well, in my case, sorry.
You go for it then. You can go after. No? Okay.
Okay.
So am I, yeah.
One of the choices for me to have Ataman's coffee here, because I don't know if you know Cuxio, which is a co-working space for chefs, okay? I saw, like Jordi said, a lot of room to improve the coffee quality into the restaurant business, okay? What I found here from a lot of people who is renting this space is not even the 5% of them, they are interested in the specialty coffee. They like it, but they think that, okay, why I cannot have this coffee for the same price that I'm paying in the bar in front? Because it's well picked, it's well roasted, it's well packed, it's well prepared, and you have to buy it every week, not every month or every 2 months like they used to do. So I think with this 5%, we have to really work hard and keeping it, just to make again the 6 and the 7 and going slowly.
Did you want to go ask a question? Sure, here.
Where do you stand as far as the torrefacto goes? It's a really particular way of drinking coffee here in Spain, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, but same as instant coffee in UK 10 years ago. I think this is... Yeah, it's...
Nearly disappeared in the big cities, but I think it's something from the past.
Can you,
let's
can you
say,
explain what it is, just for...
you roast the coffee. I explain you what I saw when I was a kid. You roast the coffee since let's say, the yellowing, right? And then you take it out of the drum and you let them cool for 1 day. Next day, you put it in a bowl, big bowl, and you put, at that time, by law, it was 100 kilos of coffee plus 10 kilos of sugar, right? And then, why do you laugh? I mean, it's a, sorry, but why do you laugh? It's a tradition, it's a kind of doing. I mean, let's say like this, I don't like it, a lot of people don't like it, but at that time, it was a way of preserving the coffee, to seal the bean, to prevent the air, the oxygen, to go inside the bean when you don't have the proper packaging, when you don't have the proper roads to arrive to, let's say, 500 kilometers in the mountain, right? Because there was no roasters everywhere, I suppose. Then you need to preserve the bean if you had to roast the coffee and sell it for the next 4, 5, 6 months. Yeah? So, although I don't like it, I need to say that it was a way of doing. I was reading today, and I have it here, a copy of, because I don't know how recent this is, because I read the price list of a roaster in Madrid in 1870, just 1870, and Torrefacto was not there. Torrefacto was not there, probably, or even when we were doing export-import with Cuba and Puerto Rico, probably, no? So probably it's later, probably. But in all senses, is something that happened. Yeah, we don't like it. At the end of the Torrefacto, although the end of the big mass market for the Torrefacto, at the end was doing with the worst coffee. Just for you to know, maybe you're young and maybe you don't know that, but for many years, Paraguay was a producing country. And it was inside when the ECO, during the ECO time, the ECO quotas, Paraguay was a producing country. So which coffee was that? There was Brazilian coffee crossing the border and said it as Paraguayan coffee, right? So yes, that was the coffee, the defective coffee. Yes, you know, the typical Brazilian defects. So Brazil and Robusta, yes, it was like this. But now in the big towns, it's nearly disappeared. I don't say that there are no places in Spain where where they use this. But in Barcelona, for example, there's a long time I don't see any place with Torrefacto. Years, I can say. But again, it's a tradition. That's it.
There was another question over here with yourself.
Yeah, I've got a couple of, I get quite a few Spanish customers into my shop, and the question which I've also had quite a few times is how to do what you would expect as a café con leche, because I, as a server, don't really know what that means, and when asking the question, it's quite hard to discern. So I don't know if that's a simple question or not, but I've never really known.
Where are you based?
Paris.
You know café au lait?
Well, yeah, but also I've asked people, like, is it an allongé? Like, is it an Americano with hot milk, cold milk? Is it filter coffee?
Espresso with milk, steamed milk, in a glass, ideally.
Okay.
No foam, please. I'm very hot.
Very hot.
Really hot. Really hot, yeah.
Cool. No, it's good.
In the same topic, what's a cortado? Like, is there a standard idea of a cortado?
I guess cortado means cut, yeah. So I guess it was like 50% coffee, 50% milk. That's what I guess. But what I mean with espresso as a real espresso size means espresso, single shot espresso, and like 2 ounces of milk, more or less. With a little, it's like a tiny latte, not
Well,
too much foam.
But
either.
2 to 1 or 1 to 1?
In Galicia, it's like an espresso macchiato.
2 to 1.
So
2 to 1.
depending the area in Spain where you are based, the cortado means something different.
So, okay, I want to know. So Galicia, it's like a macchiato.
Exactly.
We should draw that.
In Barcelona, it's half and a half.
Like the flat white.
And in,
What is a flat white?
What is a flat white?
it says Spain. We're doing Spain. When we go to New Zealand, we'll do that. But or London. But yeah. But no wait. So Galicia is a macchiato. Barcelona is 1 to 1, and then in Andalusia or Madrid or
It's 13 different kinds of cortado.
I have 10 digits. That's all I can
Malaga,
do.
you can die, man. Go to Malaga. Go to Malaga.
A drop of milk.
But that would be more like a macchiato.
Espresso macchiato.
You're just making it up. Hang on, I'll get a mic back here.
3 ounces.
40-40.
No, I would just like to add that what they refer of an espresso shot, sometimes in some bars it's like 2.5 ounces for an espresso shot. In the Canary Islands we add condensed milk to the cortados. I don't know, it's like very, very, very different from each city, each place. So you have cold milk, super hot milk,